is speaking for the BJP or only for himself? And is the BJP itself dangerously raising temperatures or foolishly tying itself in knots? And finally, does the Constitution, which grants us freedom of expression, also guarantee freedom of silence? My guests are BJP spokesperson GVL Narasimha Rao, the RSS supporting author and thinker Ratan Sharda, Congress spokesperson and MP Abhishek Singhvi, the highly regarded sociologist Ashish Nandi, and the former editor-in-chief of the Times of India, Dilip Padgankar. Mr. Narasimha Rao, on Saturday, Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis said, and I'm going to quote him, "Some people say we will not say Bharat Mata ki Jai. Then what? Pakistan ki Jai or China ki Jai? If you want to live in this country, then you have to say Bharat Mata ki Jai. Otherwise, you have no right to live here." Yesterday, Mr. Fadnavis issued a statement where he clearly does not deny saying this. So I have a very simple question for you. Is this the BJP's official line, or has Mr. Fadnavis said more than he should have?
Karan, I think a large part of his statement, I think this was a 1 hour long speech that he made. And what you read out is half a minute of his speech. I think largely reflected the concern of the people of the country and the kind of issues that we have with people trying to fan anti-national sentiments, issuing fatwas against making it a religious issue, telling people not to chant Bharat Mata ki Jai. It is in this context he made this comment, and people have no right to live here. That's a comment that was made in jest.
In jest?
I would certainly
forgive me. This is very important. Are you saying that was a comment made in jest? In other words, it is a joke to say you have no right to live here. Were we meant to laugh when he said it?
No, that's not a joke. That's rhetorical. I think what you need to see is the pain and agony that he expressed to that statement. And as a very responsible leader and a politician,
if he was expressing pain and agony, why was he speaking in jest? The two are contradictory emotions. Pain doesn't lead to humor, unless it's black humor.
No, I think no. I think it's not a. When I say this, I'm not saying that was a rhetorical kind of a statement. If you do not want to say Bharat Mata ki Jai, what else do you want to say?
Silence is an alternative.
You do not want to be a
Has it occurred
Indian?
to you that silence is an alternative?
No, I think someone who is aggrieved, who is agitated, he is not going to remain silent. I think you have seen how a religious organization, Darul Uloom, has issued a fatwa telling people of the religion, saying it's un-Islamic to say Bharat Mata ki Jai. Whereas in most Islamic countries, people have no problem hailing the motherland.
All right.
So certainly there are attempts to
just a moment. I think actually
there are attempts to.
No, let's not confuse the issue by claiming that in Islamic countries people have no problem hailing the motherland. You're actually probably factually wrong. Let's not divert. Let's stick to Mr. Fadnavis.
No,
Ratan Sharda, let me bring in Ratan Sharda. Ratan Sharda, a few days ago, the RSS Sanghchalak Mohan Bhagwat clarified that you can't force anyone to say Bharat Mata ki Jai. Unfortunately, in Mr. Fadnavis' clarification statement, he stood by his remarks. This is what he said on Sunday. What we object about is when someone says, I won't say Bharat Mata ki Jai. There is a limit to appeasement. So clearly, the Maharashtra Chief Minister disagrees with the RSS Sanghchalak. On this issue, who do you agree with? The RSS Sanghchalak or the Maharashtra Chief Minister?
Karan, let us first look at the context in which all these sentences were spoken. You have heard of, Bharat Mata, Bharat tere tukde honge, then barbadi te tak jang rahegi, Kashmir mange azadi, Kerala mange azadi. This was the context, and lionizing of those people who were speaking anti-national slogans, that Mr. Mohan Bhagwat said that we should teach people to say Bharat Mata ki Jai. I am surprised that we are actually translating, all the great linguists are translating these simple phrases into literal meanings. He said teach, he never said force. First of all, he never said force people. Then he said you can say anything. It is not necessary to see, because his point was that we should learn patriotism, we should learn love for the nation. That's all he meant.
Absolutely.
And then Mr. Owaisi jumps into it, flashes his minority card,
can I, Mr. Sharda, interrupt you?
Head and whatever, nobody
Mr.
forced him and
Sharda,
all
can I
that.
interrupt
so this
you?
was pure politics in which
Mr. Sharda, permit me to interrupt you. You said a very important thing. You emphasized that the Sangh Chalak said we should teach, not we should force. What the Maharashtra Chief Minister is saying, is that if you don't say it, you have no right to live in the country. That is not the RSS Sangh Chalak's viewpoint. So I ask you my question: who of the two is right?
The context again is that when somebody says I will not speak and he quotes religion for this, no religion in this world will tell that you will not love your motherland, you will not call your land of birth as motherland. There is a phrase,
I'm asking you a simple question. Answer it rather than prevaricate and dance around by not giving an answer. I'm repeating that question to you again because it is critical. And I'm deliberately interrupting you.
Appeasement policies or these kind of things.
So
that's what he said. Beyond that is political rhetorics, there is hyperbole.
Mr. Sharda, pause a moment and listen to the question. It's important you answer the question. The RSS Sangh Chalak, as you yourself said, actually said we should teach, not force. The Maharashtra Chief Minister said something very different. He said, if you don't say it, you have no right to live in this country. And I'm asking you a simple question. Of the two men, who do you agree with?
Naturally, I agree with Mohan Bhagavat.
Thank you,
sir. Am I supposed to agree with somebody says? He is a politician, he made a hyperbolic statement considering what has been happening in Maharashtra, how fatwas are being shown to say we will not say, while no religion will tell you not to respect your mother. Bangladesh as national...
Alright sir, you've given your answer, I'm stopping you there, we're not going to Bangladesh.
Those Islamists are
the important thing you said is, I agree with the Sangh Chalak, and of Mr. Fadnavis you said he's made a hyperbolic statement. Hyperbolic is the extreme form of adjectival exaggeration. That is actually what you're saying about Mr. Fadnavis.
So let us stop the sophistry.
Thank you. You've made your point. Mr. Sharda, let me bring the others in. Mr. Nandi, in the explanation that the Chief Minister put out yesterday, he went one step further. He says that those who oppose Bharat Mata Ki Jai have malafide intentions and interests. They are divisive forces who want to create a rift in our country and wish to break the unity of the country. Now, the people who refuse to say Bharat Mata Ki Jai were firstly Asaduddin Owaisi, he's an MP. Secondly, Waris Pathan, he's a Maharashtra MLA. And thirdly, the Deoband Seminary, who said that it would be against Islamic tenets to say it. Do you believe that these are people and institutions that want to create a rift and break India's unity? Is that a correct charge to level against them? Mr. Nandi?
I think it is absolutely comic to suggest this, that they have no right to declare that they wouldn't say Bharat Mata Ki Jai. This is something which cannot be forced. I think Mohan Bhagavat is right in that sense. I think Mr. Fadnavis has made a very silly comment. We have already become the laughing stock of the world. Now we are doubly so.
So in other words, the charge that people like Asaduddin Owaisi or Waris Pathan or the Deoband Seminary are trying to break the country is a comic, ludicrous charge. It is unjustified. Is that right, Mr. Nandi?
Yes, because Owaisi has also said that he has no problem with saying Bharat Mata Ki Jai, but he refuses to be forced to say Bharat Mata Ki Jai.
He'll say it of his own volition, but not under coercion or pressure.
So has Waris Pathan, if I am right.
Abhishek Singhvi, the Congress's position on this slogan is unfortunately both unclear and probably perhaps dubious to boot. On the one hand, you disagree with Mr. Fadnavis, but on the other, when Waris Pathan refused to say Bharat Mata Ki Jai, several newspapers reported that it was your legislative leader, Radhakrishna Vikhe Patil, who was the person who moved the motion to suspend Pathan. And even if that newspaper story is inaccurate, what is beyond doubt is that your party didn't dissent when the suspension was put to vote, making you complicit in the suspension. So I put to you a simple question. What right do you as a party have to wag a finger at Mr. Fadnavis today?
This is exactly the question you asked me in an earlier program, and I think we agreed to disagree because I told you clearly the answer. The leader of the House, opposition in the House, along with a lot of other MLAs, spoke on the collective view of the MLAs, which they are entitled to do in the House. They were not speaking on a Congress direction, they were not speaking on a whip, they were not speaking on any Congress diktat. It's their view. Equally, I have said many times from the podium of the AICC, and I'm repeating it, the Congress believes that you should say this with pride, with happiness, with joy, but you cannot be forced to say it. And let me repeat, despite I know what your objection is going to be, you cannot be punished for not saying it. Now, because a collective assembly believes that we, the collective wisdom of the House, means that we should punish somebody, that's up to them. But that doesn't make it the Congress stand or the stand across the country.
Can I put
Our
to you?
stand is clear.
Actually,
the BJP is debasing and devaluing this great slogan by using it as a compulsory form of
what Shashi Tharoor said to me roughly 8 days ago. He said that the Congress MLAs in Maharashtra had been intimidated by the BJP and the Shiv Sena. They were therefore unable to stand up for their alleged principles. They cowed down and went along with the majority and didn't dissent when the suspension was put to vote.
I don't know, and frankly I wouldn't care what others said. This is the official AICC line. I have myself said it from the AICC podium, and I'm repeating it to you very clearly, that this could be the view of the collectivity of the House of a party. It does not in any manner mean that it's the Congress rule, diktat or policy or whip. And let me tell you, Karan, this whole idea is actually the very great thing which we should glorify. The BJP in the name of nationalism is debasing it, devaluing it, by constantly forcing you and me to say it like this.
All right, it's a very interesting position you're taking, that the view that you should be suspended for refusing to say that slogan could be the view collectively of the MLAs of the Congress, but it's not the view of the Congress party. Sophistry at best, I would say, but forgive me, I don't mean to editorialize.
Inside the House is very different. Inside the House, that's very different.
Correct. Dilip Padgankar, how do you interpret Mr. Fadnavis's outburst? Is he dangerously raising the temperature in the country, or is he foolishly tying himself and his party into knots?
Well, he's the latest in the country to raise this temperature. After him, we had Baba Ramdev saying, had it not been for the Constitution, we would have chopped off the heads of lakhs of people who don't say Bharat Mata ki Jai. Karan, my own view is that either the Sangh Parivar are a confused lot, because they say one thing one day, go back on it, U-turn, more and more flip-flops. We've just heard someone say that Fadnavis' statement was made in jest, that it was rhetorical, it was a hyperbole, etc., etc. So either they're a confused lot, or there are fissures within the Sangh Parivar, or yet again, it's a concerted effort to pay good cop, soft cop, bad cop, tough cop, etc. I'm absolutely puzzled. As far as Mr. Fadnavis is concerned, let's not forget, everything is now heading towards critical elections in the Bombay Municipal Corporation. And therefore you will find that the big fissures have developed within the alliance in Maharashtra. The Shiv Sena has been heading out at the BJP. But to come back to the point, Karan, just one quick point. This is so much hot air, this whole business of Bharat Mata ki Jai, nationalism, anti-nationalism. I want to ask defenders of Bharat Mata ki Jai as a compulsory slogan, whether those who stash money abroad, who don't pay their taxes, who default on their bank loans, are they greater anti-nationalists than the ones who refuse under duress to say Bharat Mata ki Jai?
A very good rhetorical point. Mr. Narasimha Rao, let me put to you this issue of raising temperatures that worries many people. First, the BJP's national executive claimed in a political resolution, and I'm quoting, refusal to chant victory to Bharat tantamounts to disrespect to our constitution. Then Mr. Fadnavis has said those who refuse to say the slogan have no right to stay in India. Why is your party deliberately and repeatedly stirring emotions and playing with fire when you know that this can be dangerous for the country?
No, I think trying to create a nationalistic fervor can never be dangerous to a country. On the other hand, the kind of programs that were organized to hail terrorists in this country, the manner in which Congress party, mainstream party goes and stands by people who have raised slogans like Bharat ki Barbadi, I'm actually pleased that we are having such a debate and a discourse. I think a month and a half ago, we were talking about freedom of expression to call for destruction of India, breaking it into pieces. Many of you in the media said this is freedom of speech. Today we are only debating what is the best way to hail Bharat Mata. We are quite pleased with this change in situation. We are not compelling anyone to say a particular slogan.
Forgive me, you are compelling people to say a particular slogan. Otherwise, at the cost of not saying it, they have to leave the country. That is what Mr. Fadnavis said. That's compulsion, no matter how you define it.
No, I think you're getting it wrong. No, you're getting it wrong. I think our objection is to people like the Darul Uloom, who are claiming that, who are giving a fatwa against chanting Bharat Mata ki Jai. You have a number of moderate Muslims who take pride in doing it. You've seen that a member of parliament, Javed Akhtar, doing it on the floor of the house. A.R. Rahman doing it, many other Muslims doing it. Why are they compelling people not to raise this slogan?
No one's compelling them not to raise the slogan, but never mind, that may be your interpretation. In contrast...
No, that's what a fatwa means.
Just a moment. In contrast, Mr. Sharda, to what you've heard from Mr. Narasimha Rao, I want to quote to you with approval what the Sangsad Chalak said in Lucknow on the 25th of March. I'm quoting him. We have to create such a great India that people themselves chant Bharat Mata ki Jai. Show the way to the people of the world with our life and deeds. And then very importantly, Mr. Bhagwat added, we don't want to impose our ideology and thoughts on anyone. Now I put it to you, that represents sound advice. That is the best recipe for holding and keeping India united. In contrast, the Maharashtra Chief Minister is dividing people and taking a line that could threaten the unity of India. What advice do you give the Chief Minister who's deliberately for political reasons in indulging in what you yourself have called hyperbolic statements?
Karan, first of all, let me just go back to Mr. Singhvi. I find it very strange that whenever any senior member of Congress makes a statement, they immediately dissociate with itself. It's very nice sophistry. They will go to JNU to support anti-nationals and come back saying, no, we didn't support them. Their MLA say they want to throw away the MIM MLA, then they say this is not my view. Then finally, whose view is it? I mean, you will just keep on separating yourself from all the statements made whether by Manish Tiwari or Mr. Singhvi or somebody else. Why is that?
I respect Mr. Sharda your right to counter Mr. Singhvi. The word sophistry was used by me. But I don't have time for you to actually carry on locking horns with Mr. Singhvi. We're running out of time. I want to bring you back to my question. Please come back to my question. It's more important.
If you were to show...
Mr. Sharda, please come back to my question. I'm running out of time. My question was, what is your advice to the Maharashtra Chief Minister
saying Bharat Mata ki Jai? If you have to show Sufis saying Bharat Mata ki Jai, if you have to show NIT students in Srinagar saying Bharat Mata ki Jai,
Mr. Sharda, if you're not going to answer my question, I'll move to the next person because I'm afraid time is limited and I have to insist that you answer the question I ask you rather than carry on a discourse of your own. I made that point to Mr. Singhvi that his answer was sophistry. You don't have to repeat it. Please answer my question. I made a very approving distinction between the line taken by the Sangsad Chalak who says we do not want to impose our ideology and thoughts on anyone, and the Maharashtra Chief Minister who actually is doing that. And I asked you, what advice do you give the Maharashtra Chief Minister? Answer that question, please.
See, first of all, when you see you people say that people laugh at Devendra Fadnavis, I think you are making a mistake. If you take a straw poll, you will find that people are appreciating what he said. Whether he said it in a wrong way or not, that is a different point. And if BJP leader wants to say something, is RSS going to control what he says? They have their own stand. A CM of the state makes a certain statement. He is a responsible person. Why should RSS go and either support him or oppose him? It's his prerogative. Let BJP respond to that. Let him respond to that. He said that appeasement has to stop. That was his final word. And now then there is no view. RSS has been saying right from beginning for 90 years of its work that it will not impose its ideology on anybody.
All right.
I'm
stopping you there, Mr. Sharda. The point you're making is that the RSS is not going to comment on Mr. Fadnavis even if you don't agree with Mr. Fadnavis, and even, as you yourself said, Mr. Fadnavis' statement is hyperbolic. But you're not going to comment on him because you give him the right to be wrong, or presumably at least different to you. Ashish Nandi, Mr. Fadnavis also said something else, and I'm quoting him. He said, it's not merely about the slogan, but it's about the lakhs and lakhs of freedom fighters who sacrificed their lives chanting Bharat Mata Ki Jai. He then went one step further, even beyond that. He said, it's about thousands and thousands of soldiers who selflessly attained martyrdom chanting Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Is refusal to say Bharat Mata Ki Jai an insult to freedom fighters or to India's Jawans?
I agree with this statement.
I do not think so. I will give you another instance.
No, Mr. Sharda, that's to Ashish Nandi. Go ahead.
I will give you another instance. In 1905, when Bengal was divided by Lord Curzon, and there was an agitation against that, many Muslims who joined the agitation did sing Vande Mataram without any problem. Only when it started making it something like compulsory, then others objected. They said that it has touches of worship, and we are not allowed by our religion to worship anybody but one God. But I think that is perfectly all right. I don't see anything wrong in it. There are many ways of showing one's affection and fondness for one's own country. And in any case, we have seen that this so-called nationalism can often be the last refuge of scoundrels. We know, everybody knows about that.
What about my question, Mr. Nandi?